Hi, my name is André Carvalho, and today I'll be presenting the results from the work that our team at Q-Control did on pulse optimization for error-robust control on cloud-based superconducting hardware. Starting from a simple model of the quantum system, we'll show how our optimizer can be used to design robust gates by shaping the microwave pulses that drive the superconducting qubits. We'll also demonstrate hardware performance improvement by running experiments using these customized pulses on IBM Quantum devices. Let's start with the following scenario. Imagine that you have a quantum circuit representing an algorithm that you want to solve using a quantum computer. The circuit is composed of multiple gates that, at the hardware level, are implemented through a real physical interaction with the qubit. Let's take this single qubit rotation, for example. In the IBM Quantum hardware, such a gate is performed by applying a microwave pulse on the desired qubit. In fact, an arbitrary qubit rotation can be performed by combining pi on 2 x rotations interspaced with z rotations, as shown in this diagram. In the real device, this operation is imperfect and will lead to errors in the execution of your algorithm. What we'll show here is how one can use Q-Control's tools to design gates that are less susceptible to noise and errors in the device. This diagram shows two possible strategies for gate replacement. We can start from scratch and optimize this parameterized U3 gate as a single unit, or retain the structure used on the IBM devices and optimize these X pion 2 gates, which are used as building blocks for arbitrary rotations. In any case, the idea is to obtain customized gates that outperform the out-of-the-box native gate. Let's consider this diagram representing the different stages of the gate implementation. You pick your gate, which is represented by a given pulse. Internally, this pulse is created by the arbitrary waveform generator and will pass through control lines before finally reaching the qubit. But what we need to know about this whole chain to design a robust pulse? Well, ideally, everything. Of course, the more we know about the system, the more detailed our model will be, and the better our ability to control the system. However, in this case, we can do a pretty good job using a basic model for the system. For example, here we'll just assume that we know the form of the Hamiltonian that performs the gate, given by this HC term in this expression. To design better gates, we also need to know what we are fighting against. In this case, we are considering two possible sources of noise: fluctuations in the control Hamiltonian itself, as represented by this beta term, and a dephasing process proportional to the sigma z operator, and this slowly varying stochastic variable eta. The control Hamiltonian represents a single qubit drive written in terms of the Pauli operators and modulated by the pulse envelope gamma of t, more commonly written in terms of the I and Q components for superconducting devices. Note that the ability to shape this pulse envelope is exactly what's required from the optimizer to generate our robust gates. In the IBM Quantum systems, QISKIT pulse provides the interface that allows one to implement pulses with arbitrary shapes in their devices. Now that we have the model for the control Hamiltonian as well as the noise that we want to suppress, we can give this information to the Boulder Opal optimizer to find the desired gate. The diagram on the left shows the steps of this process. We input the parameters of the system like maximum Rabi rates and hardware time resolution. We also input optimization parameters like your target gate, its duration, and the number of segments in your pulse. Then you create the Hamiltonian with the optimizable variables, in this case I and Q. If you want to generate a robust pulse against a specific noise source, you add this term as well and you are ready to run the optimization. The outcome of the optimization is a piecewise constant pulse, as the one shown on the right. This one, in particular, is a pi pulse created to be robust against dephasing. With this pulse at hand, we are now ready to implement it in the hardware. This diagram represents the experiments we run. Our customized gate is sent to one of the IBM devices, and the excited state population is measured for different points in time, showing the system dynamics up to the gate duration. The solid line corresponds to Q-control numerical simulations, while the circles are the experimental data. The experimental points clearly deviate from the expected numerical curve, indicating that something is not quite right with this implementation. Looking at the pulse shape, we see that it has abrupt changes in its values, and this can cause problems. This fast pulse variation can exceed bandwidth limitations of the hardware electronics, for example, leading to discrepancies between the designed and the generated pulse. Furthermore, the control lines have their own characteristic transfer functions, so that the pulse that reaches the qubit can be actually a distorted version of what's generated at the AWG. One great feature of our optimizer is that it has a built-in capability to introduce constraints based on hardware restriction and imperfections. In this case, we smoothen out the pulse by applying a filter that removes its higher frequency components. This is easily incorporated in the optimization flow on the left, with a cutoff frequency defined by the user. With this single extra parameter, we obtain the smooth pulse shown in the center figure, and the measure dynamics is now in good agreement with the numerical simulation. Now that we have pulses that are behaving as expected in the hardware, it's time to experimentally demonstrate their robustness. In this slide, we have the default IBM Pi pulse and 3 robust pulses designed to be robust to amplitude noise, dephasing, and to amplitude and dephasing simultaneously. To show robustness, we run the experiment as before and measure the excited state population at the end of the gate. In the left figure, we plot the gate infidelity as the detuning between the qubit and the local oscillator varies. The pulses that were designed to be robust against dephasing are insensitive to detuning, as indicated by the flat response. For the default pulse, on the other hand, the infidelity quickly increases as one departs from the central point in the graph. On the right plot, we have a similar experiment where the error in the control pulse amplitude is varied along the horizontal axis. Again, the performance of the default gate quickly worsens as it moves away from the central zero error point. The amplitude robust pulse shows a flat response across the whole range investigated. Interestingly, the dephasing robust pulse, even though was not designed for this, also shows a certain degree of amplitude robustness. The performance of our gates was also analyzed using randomized benchmarking. On the left plot, we have the fidelity as a function of the Clifford length for RB procedures where the Clifford gates are made up of the default IBM gates, shown in black, or Q-control dephasing robust optimized gates, in purple. Our pulse can outperform the default ones by a margin around 10 to 20%, despite their longer duration. The most important difference, however, appears when we look at the distribution of the RB outcomes for different sequence lengths. The IBM default pulse shows skewed and broad distributions, a signal of coherent errors. On the other hand, for the robust pulse, these errors are suppressed, leading to narrow and symmetric distributions, indicating that the errors are dominated by incoherent T1 processes. The existence of these coherent errors, as indicated by our RB results, can be further explored by performing experiments where the gate is repeated multiple times. As the gate is repeated, coherent errors accumulate, and we can see their effect clearly. The data in these plots shows the results of such an experiment for the IBM default and 3 different robust pulses. They perform similarly for a single application of the gate, but the default gate quickly loses fidelity as the number of repetitions increase. The curves in the plot indicate a fit using this function, which allows us to extract the errors coming from over or under rotation, this epsilon r term, as well as exponential decay given by the beta term. We repeated this fitting procedure for all 5 qubits in this particular chip and obtained epsilon r and beta across the device. Once these errors are found, we can estimate an overall error per gate, as illustrated in the plot on the right. We see a large variation across the device when the default pulse is used, but the robust pulses homogenize the errors, meaning that all qubits perform similarly. To test the stability of these gates over time, we repeat these experiments over multiple days, and the results are summarized in this 2D color plot. In the color scale, dark colors correspond to small errors, while bright yellow corresponds to the highest error. In the horizontal axis, we have the different qubits in the IBM Valencia backend, while the vertical axis corresponds to the different days the experiments were run. The numbers in the plots show the ratio between the errors obtained using the default gates and the errors obtained using our robust gates for the corresponding qubits and days. The changes from bright to dark colors along horizontal lines in the plot for the IBM default pulse show the large variability in performance across different qubits in the device. Note also that despite the daily calibration of the default pulse, There's also a large variation from day to day for the different qubits in the back end. This is in strong contrast with the Q-control results that show a much more uniform error per gate across device and also over time. The stability over time is particularly striking given that our pulses were calibrated on August the 3rd and used throughout the week without further calibration. This is a substantial gain in machine time as daily gate calibrations can be skipped for these pulses. The results shown in this slide correspond to the same experiment as in the previous one, but now with the gates applied simultaneously on all 5 qubits in the chip. Running gates in parallel whenever possible is obviously advantageous as it reduces the execution time. However, driving the qubits at the same time can lead to poor gate performance due to crosstalk between the qubits. This is clear for the IBM default pulse, where the errors increase substantially as compared to the case of the gates applied separately. For our robust pulses, however, the performance remains basically unchanged for the dephasing and amplitude robust pulses. The robust pulses provided a 10-fold improvement in hardware stability over time and across the device, as well as a 10 times improvement in single-qubit gate performance. In summary, in this talk I showed you how to design robust single-qubit gates based on a simple model for the hardware, and also demonstrated the performance improvement of these pulses in a real cloud-based quantum device. In my last slide, I want to address a question that some of you may be asking right now. What if I don't have a good model for the quantum system? This is a question that we at Q-Control have been exploring as well, and I'd like to point you to 2 talks from our team. In their presentations, Yuval and Mirko will show how one can treat the quantum hardware as a black box and use machine learning techniques to design single and 2-qubit gates that outperform the default gates on IBM Quantum devices. Thank you for watching this presentation from Q-Control. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the team by going to qcontrol.com.